sure I got everything here. I got my coffee. I got the bowl. Oh, by the way, medical marijuana podcast. Today's medical marijuana tip: if you're watching Family Guy and you're not laughing hard enough, try medical marijuana. It might help. That's your pot advice for the day. Yeah, I was talking to a couple fellas earlier. We were talking about this YouTube show, and they think that I should call it the Doug Show. No, like first, I swear to God, they suggested the Doug Show. And I'm like, nah, man. First of all, BWJP Radio. That's Black White Jesus Podcast. It has a story. It has a story. We don't mention Mexican Jesus. But tonight he said Doug Radio. I'm like, I have a feeling if I called the show Doug Radio, it would be easier for people to look up. Do you know, like, what it's like telling somebody to look up something in their phone and say BWJP Radio? It's like, those letters have never gone together before. How am I supposed to... And this is a confusing-ass podcast name. But I also don't want to put my name in the title. I don't want to put my name on the title of the show. The parent company is BWJP Radio. If I branch off into any other thing else silly, it'll be BWJP Radio Presents, whatever kind of segments I come up with. This is going to be one of the hat episodes where I wear a hat. I actually don't know if I like the hat. I might take it off. It's a little hot. I'm reconsidering the hat episode. Yeah, stop hissing so much, yo. I was getting really hot in that hat, to be honest with you. If I'm going to be honest with you, let's talk about dating apps. I don't need to use them, because I gets mine.
I think I'm going through another depressive episode.
Nah, actually, don't get mine too much, but, dating apps, that's what I was talking about. So dating apps are crazy, right? And it seems a little superficial and unromantic. Like back in the day, we would just meet a lady on top of a tower or a building or something in Seattle, maybe. Because let's say even if it works, the dating app thing, right? You meet your wife on a dating app. It's great. Love of your life. You get married, you have kids. One day your son's going to ask how you met mommy. And you'll be touched, You'll be like, oh, little Jimmy, I'm so cute of you to ask about how I met your mommy. Do you know that app on your phone called Let's Bang? Back when your mom and I were in college, it was called Tinder. And that's how we met. And little Jimmy's like, I hope it was Jimmy. Little Jimmy's like, oh, so you fell in love with mommy, like, right when you met her? Like when you saw her picture, you fell in love? Like a storybook? And then the dad's like, not quite, Jimmy. You see, your mother, she was showing the most boob and within 10 miles of me. So we met. And Jimmy's just like, oh, fuck. And then dad's like, hey, Jimmy, go get me a beer. And you hear the wife in the background. And it's like, don't tell Jimmy to get you beers anymore, you fucking alcoholic. And then the dad's like, fucking Tinder, man. Anyway. Yeah, so I got all those apps loaded up, of course. Also agreed to a couple terms and conditions without reading it in Korean to Tinder. Now, the other day I go on to Tinder, and all these new mandatory agreements pop up. These things. So, of course, I click consent on all of them automatically without reading them because I want to meet ladies. One of them had something to do with, like, South Korea, which was weird. I click on see details, and this comes up. It's in Korean. I think North Korea, knows where I am right now or something. But I want to meet ladies, It's a tough toss-up, man. And there's other ones, man. There's one called Plenty of Fish. And I actually originally thought that was an app for fishermen to find other fishermen to fish with. And I'm not going to go into details, but like, long story short, I had to fuck a fisherman. He was a good guy, though. Tender lover. Anyway, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Let me tell you a little story. Facebook started a dating app, right? So I match up with this girl on the Facebook dating app, and we're talking back and forth, and it's all good. And we decide to meet up at a McDonald's, you know, which seems like a safe place to meet up with a internet stranger, of course. So I get there and I text her, "Hey, I'm here, where are you?" And she says, "I'm over by the dumpster." And I'm like, okay, she's around the parking lot where the dumpster is, right? And I go around, and she is not in a car. She is leaning on the dumpster, really sitting on the ground, leaning on the dumpster. And I quickly realized something. Now, when this girl in her dating profile described herself as a free-spirited gypsy, I thought it was just kind of like kind of a wicked, cool way to describe herself and her attitude or whatever. And then I quickly realized that she is actually a homeless gypsy wanderer. But I don't judge. So, you know, we plan to go to the park and talk and have some ice cream or something. And, oh, by the way, when she stood up from where she was at the dumpster, I found out she was also handicapped. She had problems walking, so. Oh, another little fact about her is that she was bipolar and on a very high manic swing, so she was like a little mentally ill, though. Really just my kind of lady. So after the ice cream, I go, I say, "So when we're done hanging out, like, where am I going to drop you off?" And she says, "You know, you can just drop me off at the dumpster." And I'm like, "Nah, dude, no, I can't drop a date off at a dumpster. I mean, call me old-fashioned, but, you know, I just come from a time where you didn't drop your date off at dumpsters. Just babies occasionally." So, I tried to evaluate the situation there. Turns out her next solid place to sleep was in Key West at a boathouse. So, you know, I either had to drop her off at a dumpster or... Anyway, I said, "I'll drive you to Key West." Why not? Seemed a nice thing to do. So it was quite a car ride, man. Quite a car ride. She was really funny, actually. Really nice girl. Just a little speedy on the mania side. And so eventually, we get down toward Key West. Find out that boathouse isn't there for her to sleep in. I'm like, ah, shit. And I was like, so, like, what are we going to do now? And she's like, "Well, you can just drop me off at a dumpster down here in Key West." I'm like, no, dude. A dumpster in Key West is no better than a dumpster in Hollywood, Florida, okay? I'm in deep. I've made a commitment. You're sleeping in a bed tonight, and we'll just get a motel room for the night, and I'll take you tomorrow morning. So, by this time, we're already really down south where the motel rooms were very expensive and had to drive really far north to even get a room. Probably a couple hours. And then we spent the night there in the hotel room, and no hanky-panky because, once again, she was a mentally ill gypsy wanderer. And then I took her and dropped her off the next morning. Oh, but before I dropped her off, I needed to buy her shoes because, by the way, she had no shoes the entire time. I give you shoes. You can get some shoes. We stopped at one of those Key West Store's got her some flip-flops or something. And then I dropped her off. I was tired. I was anxious to get home. It was quite a journey into Facebook dating. And then she's like, let me keep in touch with you. And I'm like, rock on. But she had texted me the next day and said she lost the shoes. So at that point, it's like, there's nothing more I could do to help you, I drove you to the Keys. I gave you a bed. I bought you shoes. You lost them. You're on your own. So that's what can happen if you use dating apps. Menu of ladies, dating apps. And, I guess I would probably rather meet somebody in person than on a dating app. But at this point, it can happen anyway. Know what I'm saying? And anyway, that's my thought on dating apps. And that's my story about my Key West Facebook dating gypsy date. Obama out.